Hi, everyone. I wanted to talk to you today about Polykleitos Doryphoros. I wanted to come in and talk to you directly because this is such an important work of art. It is, of course, kind of one of the consummate works from the High Classical period. This is, of course, created in Athens, which was this nexus of great intellectuals and thinkers that all gathered together for this 100-year period um, uh, of peace and tranquility, creating these extraordinary works. Now, Polykleitos was a theorist and writer as well as a sculptor, and he wrote a very important work called the Canon. Now, his work has been lost. Um, the original work was lost, but there were summaries of it written. And we do know that this particular work was meant to be a living example of the theories that he presented in the canon. Now, he believed very strongly that beauty arrived from the symmetria or symmetry of all parts. He believed very much in the laws of commensurability. That is, if that you knew one measurement of a work, that would basically lead you to an understanding of the entire structure. For instance, if you know the length of one finger, that length of the finger would determine the length of the hand, which would determine the length of the arm, which would determine the length of the torso, and so forth. So all aspects of a work of art were in relationship with one another. He also believed very strongly that beauty could be created based on this mathematical laws of proportion. Now, this is a very interesting concept if you think about it, that you can basically think about beauty in terms of kind of mathematical relationships. Um, uh, Food for thought on that one. He very much was, Polykleitos was engaged in kind of attempting to impose kind of a sense of order over the body, and he had a very clear understanding how this should move forward. Now, if we look at the Doryphoros or the spear bearer, now originally this was a bronze work. We know it only from its Roman copy. Originally, there wouldn't be that stanchion there behind holding the figure up, and similarly, there would be no need for these elements as well. It would have been a bronze work. Now, this kind of warrior figure would have been holding a spear in his hand, and that makes sense for the position of the hand. Perhaps this was an image of Achilles or some kind of idealized nude male athlete. We see the way that he has composed the body. We saw it in the warrior, but it was Polykleitos, which was the first one to really kind of come up with this stance. We are very much in contrapposto here. We see, right, the hips swaying outward. We also see the way that the body has been divided into four quadrants, and that we have this kind of chiastic counter positioning of a flexed arm with a flexed leg, a relaxed leg with a relaxed arm in this cross balance form. We also get a sense that this is a body or a figure that is both simultaneously relaxed and also about to move, as if he's about to step forward and simultaneously relax, kind of conveying both elements of the body in one single posture. This was very important to Polykleitos. We also see that the head has been counterposed to the position of the hips. While the hips sway one direction, the head swings the other. This is part of that harmony of opposites that we also see in the counterbalance and counterpositioning of the relaxed and the flexed limbs. All very important to Polykleitos' idea as he presented in the canon. Another thing that I think is always really important and helpful in kind of understanding this kind of progression of Greek art sculpture, this is a very kind of controlled attitude towards the beauty, to the body and of beauty. And as we can see in Polykleitos's hair, right? Not a single hair is out of place. In fact, he almost looks as if he has helmet head, right? This is kind of part of the Polykleisian notion of kind of a ordered view of beauty and the body. As we're going to see in the late classical and the Hellenistic page, I want you to kind of look at the hair on these figures. We're going to see more and more kind of looser, tousled hairstyles as we move away from this very, very stringent, controlled view. Of course, this is only really, it's also reflective of the time in which Polykleitos lived. This was that period of kind of peace and tranquility within Athens, where there wasn't great social strife, as we will see in the late classical period.